Hello there and welcome back to Field Study, an exploration of food and the landscape. It is early March and today marks a very special day in the history of the channel. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. One of them early spring days where change is really in the air. It's sort of beautiful and hazy and windy and cold, but yes, everything is growing and there's new life around every corner. But like I say, this is a very important day in the history of field study. Today we passed 5,000 subscribers. So that means there are 5,000 of you out there that cared enough to click the subscribe button. And that means so much to me. When I started this channel, I had no idea if anyone would be interested in a man from the Isle of Wight talking about the plants around his village. Yet here you are. And thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be in your company. So in order to celebrate, I thought we could do a little bit of a giveaway. That's what people do, isn't it? So lots of you have been asking, especially on the live streams, ever since I did my identifying field mushrooms video a couple of years back now, about where you can get your hands on these embroidered patches that I wear on my field study uniform. Now there are only 6 of those in existence on the face of the planet, and I don't intend to make any more. So I thought as a way of celebrating passing the 5,000 subscriber mark, I could give you guys a chance to win a field study patch. Now that isn't all, I'm also going to chuck in a personalised notebook for you guys to use to take notes when you're out and about foraging, and that's going to have a lovely little painting on the front of it done by me as a gift to you. So I know what you're thinking, how do I enter the competition? And I thought it would be a nice way to look back on all the things that we've done over the last 2 years. If you guys comment below with your favourite field study moment, or your favourite video that I've done or something like that, and then I'm going to use a sort of random comment finder. And then I'll use a random comment selector in order to select a winner. So it really is all to play for. Now once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone that has supported me so far in this strange venture that I decided to set out on. We really are at the beginning of something beautiful, I think. To everyone that has been part of the channel from the beginning, you might recognise this from the second ever live stream we did when I took you guys on a foraging walk in the rain. That was on this pathway. But yes, thank you for being here. I have big things planned for this year. I have big things planned for this year. I have so much information to get across to you guys. So many plant facts, so many beautiful things that I want to show you as the seasons progress. Maybe I'll be able to do this full time by the end of this year and teach you guys about the landscape that I grew up in, the landscape that I love. The landscape that is an extension of me, because that is what I want to do with my life. And nothing else will come close. Anyway, on that note, and then you guys can have 2 videos a week, and a podcast, and a live stream, anything you want, really. Anyway, I thought it would also be a very nice thing to do to celebrate, to look back on all of the times over the last 2 years where I have messed up on camera or fallen over or done something funny or ridiculous. So thank you for being here and enjoy these bloopers. Boop. Hello, it's Future Joseph here. I've just been editing together this video and I've noticed that some of the old footage, which the bloopers are on, doesn't have any audio because I used to record the audio separately. So unfortunately, we're not going to get any bloopers. However, I have got a little treat in store for you. I'm going to show you one of the first videos that's vaguely foraging related that I ever made. So this is back from before field study was even a thing, before I even knew that I wanted to do YouTube, before any of that stuff. So I just went camping, went and made a little film about the plants that I love. And this is that film So be prepared for a very young looking Joseph who made a very interesting hat choice that day, talking quietly and awkwardly about plants. Can't believe I'm doing this to myself. I actually did the entire soundtrack by myself, which I'm quite proud of. It sounds quite nice, even though musically it's not really that complicated. But anyway, I did the soundtrack myself. And you can enjoy every single time I get the Latin name of the common polypody fern wrong. I cannot express enough how awkward a screen presence I used to be. But yes, anyway, enjoy. Very rare in this part of the country that you find woodland as old and dense as this. In the southeast of England, it's one of the most populated parts of the country, and as such lots of the woodland got cleared out very early on when we were settling, in order to make way for civilization and agriculture and stuff. Lots of the downland that you see around here was cleared centuries ago for sheep farming, to make grazing land. So woodland like this only exists here in small pockets, which makes this place very, very special. It has a species diversity that I haven't found anywhere else. So I've come here today to do a little bit of plant identification. There's a species of fern that I know exists here that is quite special. This species of fern I found here growing on other trees, which in itself is quite interesting. Plants that grow on other plants in sort of a non-parasitic sort of way. So unlike ivy and stuff like that, it's called an epiphyte. So epiphytes are usually found in rainforest and other like subtropical environments, which is amazing because here we are about 3 miles away from a busy road, and we have an example of an ancient symbiotic relationship. The tree that I've seen it grow on here is the oak tree, and they're predominantly quite old oaks, hundreds of years old, and as I say, this is a very old dense woodland. But the furrows on the trees seem to attract mosses and lichens and stuff, things which hold the water there. So it means that the fern can stay moist. The name polypody, which is the name of this fern, Polypodicae vulgaris or something like that. So the name of this particular fern, Polypodicae vulgaris, there are other ones in the Polypody family, means many-footed fern, and it's got these little rhizomes, these little feet that it attaches to the tree, and they're sort of scaly, and I've seen them here. They exist underneath the moss layer, so the moss holds the moisture there, so they've always got wet feet, which they like, and we're going to try and find an example of that today, and I'll tell you more about it when we do. Now that is wild mint. It grows all the way along here, and the deer seem to like to eat it. So there it is, this curious little thing. Polypody, the common polypody. Polypodicae, I get this wrong. Polypodicae, polypodi, the common polypody. Now I want to find you a slightly more impressive specimen than that though, so I'm going to push on through, I think. So here we have it, with its beautiful round spores on the bottom, growing on this lovely fallen oak tree here. Absolutely beautiful. So the root of this fern has been used historically by humans as a food and a medicine. Our ancestors would have known this plant. They probably would have come into woodland much like this and harvested it themselves. The interesting thing about these particular rhizomes is they contain a substance which is 500 times sweeter than sugar. Now that's almost incomprehensible. 500 times sweeter than sugar, not double, 500 times sweeter. So it said if you grind them up, then the smell is almost too sweet and sickly to stand. It becomes nauseating. So this was used by our ancestors as a medicine. It was used in Scandinavian countries, and I think it still is in some places as a folk medicine, for getting rid of parasites and digestive things. So if you're ill, you think you might have worms or something awful like that, this is the plant that they would come to, and they would make a drink out of the root. And then in other European countries, it's been used as a sweetener for confectionery. So nougat, stuff like that, mallow, that sort of thing. The root, because of its sweetness, has been used in sparing quantities in order to sweeten that up, and apparently it's got quite an aromatic flavour. Over in America they have another species of the polypody family that grows pretty much sort of similar to the way you can see this one growing here, but its common name over there is the licorice fern, and it was chewed by indigenous people, and that has a more of a aniseedy flavour, that sort of bittersweet kind of overtone. So that was used for, again, stomach complaints and things, just general health-giving properties. Now, with scientific research into these things, ferns have been found to have a substance in them that is a possible carcinogenic, so I wouldn't advise going out and picking this. It's just one of those things. It's interesting from an ethnobotany point of view to know about it and our relationship with this plant. But again, it's not something that I would recommend going out and picking, because it is a possible carcinogen. It also contains an enzyme which prevents your body from absorbing vitamin B, which is pretty crucial for a healthy diet. So that can cause severe illness. So again, I wouldn't recommend going out and picking this plant. So there we have it, Polypodium vulgare, the common polypody. Absolutely fascinating. So that's about it, unless anything truly magical happens. I'll see you in the morning. Morning everybody. The dawn chorus wasn't as impressive as I was expecting it to be. It was still worth the trip out. So I slept like a baby last night, woke up about 6 o'clock this morning. Just as the sun was beginning to rise. I've broken camp already. My fire site's all cleared away. Remember, if you can't make it look like this, then just stay home. I've broken down my bed, and it was like I was never here. So until next time, take care.